study published in JAMA Pediatrics reports that more than 1 in 5 kids and teens are showing signs of a potential eating disorder. Eating disorders have always been a concern, particularly in the female adolescent population. Of course, that's nothing new.
But what has changed, and what signs should you be on the lookout for if you suspect someone you know, maybe even your own child, is in trouble? Araksya joins us now. Welcome back. We missed you.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be back. And an important topic we're going to talk about. So you cited that study, right? And after reading that study, I reached out to Dr. Ashley Zucker. One of the biggest takeaways from the conversation I had with her is the fact that eating disorders can occur in people of any shape and size. It does not matter the age or gender. And despite what some may think, you can't just tell someone has an eating disorder simply by looking at them.
Years ago, early research into eating disorders kind of had this very stereotyped kind of identified person who may develop an eating disorder. So high socioeconomic status, Caucasian, teenage, female. And so that's sort of where I think a lot of that kind of stereotype comes from, some of that early research. But again, as time goes on, we really see that this crosses all genders, all races, all socioeconomic statuses. It just may not be as easily recognized, or they just may not be as willing to come forward for treatment.
Dr. Zucker says that throughout COVID, there's been an increase in eating disorders. It could be just eating habits have changed, or the pressures in life or our society, or even, social media impacting all of this. So how can you identify that there may be a problem simply because you can't just look at someone and tell there's a problem? She says, look for changes in behavior. So we're talking about change in eating habits, where they are eating less frequently, or they're cutting out an entire food group. Are they no longer eating in public? Are they scrutinizing how much they exercise in relation to eating? Are they regularly going to the restroom right after a meal? Do they have a distorted self-image? Now, those things I just said, those are kind of those obvious big signs, but that's not all. You can look for these subtle behavior changes as well, like change in personality, being more withdrawn, irritable, agitated, extra grumpy, change in sleeping patterns, or school performance. Now, going back to that study that started this entire conversation, listen to this. I found this really disturbing. That report found 22% of kids between the ages of 6 to 18 years old, I know, 6, exhibited signs of eating disorder. Yes, 6 years old. I know it's hard to understand this, but a strong reminder from the doctor saying that kids pick up on everything as we know around them. So you have to be super mindful of what you say and what you do.
Wow.
Something else that's important for us to recognize as parents is that what we say and what we do, our kids pick up on and they recognize. So if as a parent, you're often talking about your own body, your own weight, or you're often dieting or talking about dieting or commenting on other people's eating habits or bodies, our kids can internalize that and start to worry about themselves and really pick up on that conversation or that behavior. So it is important to recognize your sort of own relationship with your body and with your food, and to be careful about what you're kind of expressing around your children.
I know. So the 6-year-old thing caught all of us because it really gets your attention. It's really upsetting and disturbing that, 6-year-old would be concerned with this. And it's sometimes words or phrases we throw around without really thinking about how much of that can be impacting someone who doesn't really understand maybe the context of the conversation.
Yeah, kids are our ultimate observers. They're always watching us. That's a good point that you brought up about how they kind of watch what we say and how we talk about weight and what we do and pattern themselves accordingly.
Makes me think of some words by Stephen Sondheim, the great lyricist. Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and they will learn. And I think this is just a great reminder of that.
And the other thing was social media. We always talk about how you have to be careful to see what your children are doing on social media, but it goes beyond that. It's also what you're doing on social media. So if you have your phone, and many of us do, let's say you're on Instagram and you're scrolling and your child is, looking over your shoulder and you're looking at dieting things or how someone looks, right? And you're constantly maybe praising how thin someone is, or you compliment often people. You say, hey, you look really good. Have you lost weight? So now they start associating, hey, to look good, you need to lose weight. So you have to be really mindful of all that.